Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 11 days away from its official release by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film is going to be quite a controversial Star Wars movie based on many of the different changes and adjustments that Disney and Lucasfilm went through throughout the months of August, September, and October, and exactly what Kathleen Kennedy did to some of the core characters for the very final film of the Skywalker saga. Now, on top of all of this, a lot of fans are very curious with exactly how J.J. Abrams is going to utilize the entire movie and exactly how it's going to tie into the prequels and the originals and how it's really going to resonate with fans. Once it releases next Thursday on December 19th, we are now basically just 1 week away until the release of this movie. Now, what's rather unfortunate has all to do with the massive changes and adjustments that took place not too long ago, earlier in this year of 2019 by Disney and Lucasfilm to really restructure the entire plot of the movie. Now, on top of all of this, it's explained that throughout the months of August, September, and October is when Disney, Lucasfilm, and Kathleen Kennedy made many changes to the film in order to provide a different tone for the movie and to focus more on making the film cater to a general audience. Now, it's explained that Kathleen Kennedy was behind many of these decisions of changing aspects of the middle and the ending of the film in order to make the film appeal to general moviegoers, and that one of the big changes to the film led to them deleting many scenes that revolved around its core characters. It's explained that one of the major scenes that were deleted from the initial cut of the film involved a scene for Luke Skywalker portrayed by Mark Hamill, where he originally was going to be training Ben Solo in a lightsaber duel in front of his Jedi training temple where Luke's students would be revealed as well. It's explained that the slaughter of Luke's students originally were also going to be a part of one of the flashbacks that were ultimately deleted. It said that this scene was deleted to focus more so on the two new characters of the film, both Jannah and Zori Bliss, and that Luke's key scene was cut from the movie that will be further explained in the upcoming comic, The Rise of Kylo Ren, that will unveil Luke's students and exactly how they died. Another segment deleted by Disney and Lucasfilm involved the scene in which all the Force ghosts of Yoda, Kenobi, Luke, and even Anakin were going to appear in the netherworld of the Force to provide a deep and valuable lesson to Rey. This sequence was partially filmed before it was deleted by Disney and Lucasfilm, and replaced with other scenes featuring also Zori Bliss and Jannah as well, and that this led to other cancelled themes by John Williams for those scenes that were planned. So let's go over a couple of parts about this and as to why this is yet again a very bad decision by Disney and Lucasfilm, and it just proves that Disney and Lucasfilm, they don't really know exactly what they're doing with the Star Wars franchise, and they don't fully understand Star Wars. Now, it's kind of funny because a lot of fans are going into this movie looking at the title called The Rise of Skywalker, and based on the leaks that we have been talking about, is that the title has nothing to do with Rey at all, or should I say with Luke at all. It has to do with Rey. So basically, Rey is the Skywalker who rises. She takes the name Skywalker. She's not related to Luke in any way, shape, or form. She just adopts the actual Skywalker name. But on to the other part about them deleting one of the key scenes of Luke Skywalker that would have truly expanded the flashbacks that we got in The Last Jedi, that I personally thought would have been a very clever way of J.J. Abrams tapping into Kylo Ren's history and even Luke Skywalker's history that would also connect to The Last Jedi's flashbacks, is that there was going to be a sequence, and this was filmed and later deleted in order to focus more on the newer characters like Zori Bliss and Jannah, which I feel the majority of the fans really don't care about those characters, but I digress. This scene was supposed to expand the history between uncle and nephew and the fall of Luke's Jedi Order and his Jedi Temple, and here's the real kicker, is that all of this is going to now be explained in the form of a comic. So not everybody reads the comics, the books, and the novels out there. That's the big problem with all of this, is that the fact that they deleted this particular scene and they are transferring it over into the form of a comic called The Rise of Kylo Ren, I'm not exactly sure how many fans are going to like that, because not a lot of fans read the comics and the books. I think that's pretty much a given. that most Star Wars fans really don't read the books in, great depth like that. There's a lot of casual fans out there that just like to watch the movies and then go on with their day and just enjoy from there on forward. So the fact that they deleted that particular key Luke scene in order to focus more on Zori Bliss and Jannah, it just tells me that Disney doesn't know what they're doing, because the core characters that a lot of fans know and love are characters like Luke Skywalker and others. And that brings us to the Force Ghosts, right? So I don't know if you guys knew about this, but a couple of weeks ago we talked about this, that all of the Netherworld of the Force scenes were deleted for the actual Episode 9 film, and that they actually deleted all the Netherworld segments that involved the Force Ghosts. Now, one of the actual segments involved all of the Force Ghosts. We're talking about Luke, Kenobi, Yoda, and of course Anakin, and all those Force Ghosts would communicate with Rey. And that's exactly what led to the very moment in which Rey would get a valuable lesson by the Force Ghost. Now, this particular segment was also deleted in order to focus on the newer characters like Jannah and Zori Bliss. Once again, it seems like Disney is, of course, trying to push these new characters for the new fans and kind of not really satisfying the hardcore, even the casual fans at that, and putting them over to the wayside and focusing more on these newer characters that actually have connections with Poe, Finn, etc., etc. So, with that being said, the fact that they made all these changes throughout the months of August, September, and October, we actually went over this a couple of hours ago, is that around 30% of the movie was reshot for Episode 9, which really is a big percentage. It tells us that they really completely restructured the plot. They changed exactly, what they were originally going to do, with George Lucas and J.J. Abrams and everything related with Palpatine, you name it. And the fact that along with all of this, some of John Williams' themes were also deleted, I think is really just very depressing, honestly. I mean, when you think about it this way, John Williams is the man who basically makes Star Wars come to life. There's no doubt about it that the music is everything when it comes to Star Wars. It really is the big deal. So when we look at John Williams, the fact that they deleted so many themes of John that he created for Star Wars and its core characters like Luke, Anakin, Yoda, Kenobi, you name it, how those were deleted and put to the wayside, and because of focusing on the characters like Jannah and Zori Bliss, it honestly just comes off as like Disney is almost making this as a joke almost. It just doesn't seem real. But when we look at Episode 9 here, alright, we are now just like 9 days away from the release of this movie. Today is the premiere over in Japan, and then we have the premiere over in Los Angeles on the 16th, which is not that far off, honestly. We're going to be getting new reactions about this movie in the days to come, maybe even today, if people can translate some of the Japanese reactions that will be put on Twitter in no time. A lot of people are going to get a sense of all of that. So this movie, like I say, it's going to be controversial, not just because Rey calls herself Skywalker, but also because of what could have been the initial cut of The Rise of Skywalker. It's one of the main reasons as to why the marketing of this film hasn't really been that bright in comparison to The Force Awakens, and how the art book of The Rise of Skywalker apparently has been delayed all the way until spring of 2020, and why the novelization is not even coming out until March of next year. So this film, like I've always said before in the past, this movie was Disney and Lucasfilm's opportunity to really patch The Last Jedi and to really fix elements of the entire sequel trilogy altogether. And it seems like that it was a missed opportunity. The fact that there's only 10 minutes worth of screen time of Luke in the film and 12 minutes worth of screen time of Palpatine in order to focus more on the newer characters, it just mind boggles me, it really does. And if you guys agree or disagree with me, that's fine. But that's just my honest opinion, and I think that being honest here is all that really matters when it comes to my feelings, based on the overall direction by Disney and Lucasfilm and Star Wars and where things are really going. So, on top of all of this, guys, I would really love to hear what each and every one of you guys have to say about this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
from night to moon.